John told him, and the fellow said, no, that's all right, but consequently John is pretty well blind in that eye. So if they hadn't fixed what was the bad eye in the first place, he'd be getting around with a white cane now. His eyesight is not good. But we get along, and he's still here, and a lot of his very great friends have gone, have died.
But what about, maybe we could, just before we close, we could touch on his mates.
Oh yes, it's what I call our crowd, and they're all ex-POWs, all greatest of friends, a very close bond between them. One in particular, of course, is Jim Ling, and they ring constantly, they see one another constantly, and Jim has helped us many times, back in the bad times when we had all the floods and the drought and we had to come down. Jim stepped in. He's been a wonderful friend, and we're going away in August to Canberra, then we're going on to Ballarat to have a look at that memorial wall. I'm going to drive, the four of us will go together, and his wife Pat, very great friends, wonderful. But John is still, they're constantly in touch with one another, and John has now become secretary of 8th Division Signals Association, finding it a bit hard, but he wants to keep it going because there's not many of them left now.
It's important.
Oh, it is very important.
Yeah. And what about some of the others?
The other
friends, the POW colleagues.
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, does he's maintained contact with Gordon Cruikshank?
Oh yes, Gordon Cruikshank. Curly Meakin, yes.
And there's a few others probably.
Oh yes, and there's a couple down in Victoria he's constantly in touch with. All of them. They ring one another, keep in touch all the time. There's one, Max Robinson, lives at Macrae in the peninsula. They ring one another constantly too. And there's an old reprobate down there that he's with too. He was with first of all. Yes, and I can't think of any others. Not so much Queensland. Because there's more widow ladies up there now, I'm afraid. But even the widows, we all keep together and yes, but constantly in touch and monitoring to see how they're getting on.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to mention? A highlight, a family highlight, an amusing incident?
Not really. We've enjoyed very much going to Thailand. And we took both the girls the first time. That was in April, but it was too hot. And we've been back 5 times since. And last year was very enjoyable because we had Laura, the eldest granddaughter, Laura, and her fiance. We had my niece Donna, and we had young Claudia, Vanessa's youngest, and we had an absolutely great time at that. We went to Krabi, and of course Krabi was one of the places that was hit in that tsunami. So we might even go back this November to see if Amata, the boatman, survived. We don't know. John used to call him Tomato, boatman. No, I think that's all. We were still having a pretty good life, but we're very sad about our friends. Most of them are unable now to go anywhere. That's why I'm driving through to Ballarat, because Jim has lost his licence and his eyesight is very bad. And I think we'll have a lovely time, the four of us. Get on really well together.
Great. Vera, thank you.